It's been a minute, especially since we've got a brand new MLC, which I'm very happy for, that we're able to test out more teams, try out more things, especially with the brand new blessing with all things included. Having Sparkle coming out very soon, we're going to be doing a lot of different showcases for a lot of different characters because I think she opens an avenue for so many things to happen, which is going to be super exciting. And then also today's showcase is going to be for a team that I think has grown by a large amount ever since their initial start up until right now with Black Swan. And I'm pretty sure you already know what I'm talking about because of course it's a thumbnail title. It's me personally being happy with how this team has, and of course the improvements that we could see going in the future. And also, as I said before, Sparkle showcases, 2.1 live stream, all that type of stuff. If you're excited for all of that, make sure to leave a sub and like on the video, which I'd very much appreciate. A very small percentage of you are actually sub that watch my video, so I'd appreciate if you were able to drop a sub and a like. But let's go ahead and start with talking about this team I've been trying to like dance around, which is going to be the Dot team. And this is the reason why we're going to be showcasing it, because we do have a full week to all of these weaknesses. Team is going to be fire, lightning, and wind on all of these guys, which is super exciting to see because now we get to just rock full on Dot with no sustain, which is going to be super cool. And this goes into a lot of the things that I want from the Dot class. I want a Dot healer that we were able to swap out Guinaifen and put in Luca to do a fat ton of damage with Kafka. That'd be super exciting, especially with how great Black Swan has been, how great this team has grown ever since Ruan Mei's release, ever since Black Swan's release, with Guinaifen coming to the mix. There's been so many great things to come from this team ever since it started with Kafka. So this is really, really cool. I am going to be starting with a Guinaifen skill to apply some Fire Kiss onto these guys to make the initial, dang, that man took a lot, to make the initial damage that we're going to be doing a lot more. And hopefully she doesn't stun some... What? Why did she stun immediately? Come on, man. So for the most part, when it comes to this showcase, I do want to say one thing before we continue with a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, which is, are you still struggling on 11 and 12? Are you able to clear it consistently? Which is something I would really love to know, because I see that a lot of players sometimes, for the most part, are having some trouble when it comes to all that is with MOC. Either you are stopping on 11, you're stopping on 12, you are not able to finish 10. We did get a difficulty spike before 11 and 12 did come out, so some people actually couldn't finish 10 anymore. Are you still struggling? And if you are, why and what stage are you struggling on when it comes to usually 10, usually 11, usually 12? Is it because the enemies are hard, the enemies are difficult, they're too tanky? Do they not align with your account? Like, are the weaknesses just never it for your account? I would love to know. Let me know in the comments below if you are struggling. I would just love to know and see how the player base is doing when it comes to completing MOC 11 and 12, which would be a really cool thing to look at. But again, continuing with this, one thing we do need to know, especially with these new MOCs and with us being in Penacony, if you haven't noticed, a lot of these enemies are going to want you to deal with what their mechanic is, and especially with how this dinosaur is, you're gonna want to be able to max him out at 6 stacks every single time, because not only does it skip his turn so that he can go into his new state, he also does massive damage to himself if you're able to actually max him out again, and he does damage to himself and also adjacent. So this is a very big mechanic you do want to make notice of, especially because there's also enemies like the TVs who, if they're happy, they're going to give you ult energy, which is absolutely insane. You want to keep them on the field like that, or if they're upset, they're actually going to be draining energy from your whole team, and that is a big no, especially when it comes to how fast you can beat it and allowing your other cycle to get more turns. So you want to make sure that you're understanding these new Penacony enemies, because I do think they're really cool in the way they work. So now we're going to go ahead and skill with Guinaifen so that we can go ahead and break this dude. Bang! 84k. Ooh, 112 dot. Holy crap. That is absolutely insane. I don't... Ooh, that was a lot of damage to himself. We love to see that. Okay, so I don't want to... Okay, boom. I want to see if I can get this below before he dies. Ah, okay, this sucks. Okay, wait, maybe, actually. We use this... No, we use... normal here. We do Black Swan ults. It breaks. It would have been nicer if we had Guinaifen up, and it would have been nicer if we have everything else up. 157k, and then we get the 0 when it comes to the first wave. Boom. Yes, sir. Now we get to have another cycle to play around with. Let's go. We love to see it, and we have a lot of skill points out of nowhere. First, we're gonna go ahead and do the Guinaifen ult. That way we can do some more damage when it comes to Kafka's skill. We're also going to be doing that so that we can get a dot to burn on them when it comes to using Kafka's skill as well. That is a lot of damage. Holy crap. Now, the one thing I want to also notice is, especially with the dot team and how much it's grown, what more can we do for this team, or what more can we expect from this team? One thing for sure that I do want to see, and I have no idea if I'll be able to max this out before he is able to do something. I think I can with the dots. Perfect, I did. One thing I do want to see from this team when it comes to what they're able to do is, especially when it comes to how they are working around making units, we really need a dot healer. That's one thing. I think Gallagher might be that with him being a break effect type unit with his light cone. That is one thing I'm really excited for, because if we're able to inflict burn without needing Guinaifen, then we're able to put in someone like Luca or another physical unit that can inflict bleed, and we just have the full suite of dots that Kafka can trigger, making this team exponentially stronger. Another thing that will make this team a lot better when it comes to what they're allowed to do is someone like Ruan Mei, but for dot. And I know that's asking for a lot, especially with how strong Ruan Mei is in the game, but having someone else with weakness break efficiency, even just a little bit less or half of what it is still super strong to be able to shred shields faster, and having them able to apply a dot again makes Kafka and the dot team super duper freaking strong. So we're gonna go ahead and break Mr. Savarog right now, so he's not able to do anything to us. We're gonna skill this guy so that Kafka can open up his meter right there. Do I have the defense down? I do not. So we're gonna go ahead and do a skill on homie right here. Then we're gonna do a ult with Kafka, breaking everyone. No one's going to be going on this turn at all. 154k, 83k, a delay. We love to see it. We love to see it. Add that burn, boom, 80k again with a delay. Dang, Ruan Mei is good. Ruan Mei is good. That is the number one takeaway. Holy crap. How much damage he taking here? 79k. Now this is gonna suck. Whoever he takes is gonna be unfair. If he takes Guinaifen, we riot. I'm not gonna lie. That would be so upsetting if he takes the only character who's low. Please don't do it. Okay, he took Swan. That's fine with me, honestly. That is fine with me. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna normal the hand. That way we're able to get it back very soon. That dinosaur took 100k from just straight dots, and I'm so glad that I am so glad that we actually didn't have to worry about the dinosaur hitting Guinaifen. That would have been super duper bad. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. Sadly, we can't really get much out of this when it comes to freeing the hand and getting Black Swan out prematurely, but we can break with adjacent, not giving us the what we wanted. But I think this is enough to give us that one cycle. Hopefully, it would suck if we didn't. There you go. I think that's so lame. I could have got the one cycle if I pressed Kafka's ult earlier. That sucks, dude. That sucks so bad. But going ahead and talking about how this team has been, dot team has just been growing exponentially. This has been a super fun showcase with all the characters having the weaknesses that we were looking at today. Kafka by far has just been a character that has so much value and how much she's been able to do with all the characters coming out. When it comes to Ruan Mei coming out, when it comes to the other dot units coming out like Black Swan, we're going to see more in the future. She's just going to be a character that's always going up in value, which is absolutely amazing. Kafka's been a great pick. If you don't like dot, I guess you won't be getting Kafka, but I promise you it's a lot more fun once you get into it. The delayed damage thing that a lot of people didn't like at first, especially me at the start, was something that of course a lot of people didn't like in playstyle, but with how Kafka makes dot feel, you just get so much satisfaction with seeing all these numbers come out. When their turn comes, you're able to do 80,000 to 100k when hitting these guys and allowing their turns to go out. They just get absolutely broken, especially with Ruan Mei and having characters like Guinaifen, Black Swan, and Kafka with all their AoE. You're able to break so many characters, get some absolutely absurd numbers like we got today when it comes to the dots that they're taking, the what is it called, all the shields we're breaking, the massive breaks we're getting. It's really, really nice to see how this team has gone. And of course, our MVP of the patch, which is Black Swan. Holy crap, has she done things for the dot team, especially with giving us more damage to the enemy when they're taking with that skill, when they're taking with that ult. Absolutely amazing. Her stacking mechanic for a sacrament. I would really love to see a character that brings out the best of her, which is get her to 50 stacks consistently, which will make her absolutely broken, but we would love to see it because there is a simulated universe blessing where dots actually trigger in extra time. It's kind of like a pseudo Kafka when it comes to that blessing, but if you were to get a character who's able to trigger dots again, not a re-trigger, but put a status effect on an enemy where they're able to do the extra dot. So shock would proc again. Whoa, it'll proc once and then it'll proc twice, and then burn, same thing, proc once, proc twice, physical, proc once, proc twice. And especially imagine if you do break damage, right, with physical, where you're able to get bleed to these high absurd numbers like we've gotten before with like 40Ks, 50K bleeds. Imagine that procking twice. You got a free 100K out of nowhere. And it seems broken, but you do have to invest in a certain playstyle and also play it correctly to the point where you're breaking with the character that you want. And breaking has been such a core component of the game, especially with characters releasing like Ruan Mei, and with Gallagher being break effect oriented with this Lycone that's in the MOC shop, as we can see right here. Break effect and the builds that we're looking at when it comes to Honkai Star Rail have come a long way, and seeing that we're building into these different teams, building into sub DPS teams, break teams, teams specified over a certain playstyle is a really fun thing, and it's something that I 100% am going to be looking forward to with Sparkle's release, with other characters' releases. We're going to be trying them out in the weirdest way possible, because having fun while playing this game is the #1 thing you want to look at, and especially seeing that this character right here, Gallagher, has a break effect in his Lycone, we can assume that somewhere in his kit, we're going to see break effect being a big thing, and especially with break effect being right there with the dot team and something that's centered around the dot team. Maybe having break effect Gallagher and having him with super high break effect, him allowing himself to heal, is the thing we want, with allowing us to have burn, with us wanting to have a healer that does dot. That way we could free up a spot for Luca, or maybe even hopefully a 5-star character that's physical. Would be the main thing, and 100% the only thing I would want for the dot team, besides someone who can re-trigger dots that's not Kafka when it comes to applying a status effect, or also giving us just weakness break efficiency while bringing in a dot. There's a lot of avenues they can go with the dot team. They've grown so much in the amount of power they've gone. Super fun team, really great team. But other than that, that is pretty much it going to be for this video. I had a lot of fun doing that, and we're of course going to have many more showcases, so make sure to leave a like and a sub if you haven't already. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all in the next one, and peace.